Hey, it's Lenny Schmidt. Welcome to Lenny Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy. Tune in, sit down, relax. It's Monday night. We're going to talk to my good friend Dan Thiel here in a second about movies, Catalina, daughters. Who knows? By the end of the show, one of us or both of us will be canceled. At least that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing on the street. Thanks for being here. It's Monday. Do me a favor real quick when you start the video. I want to get right to it. No intros, no stupid nothing. Well, a short intro. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button or smash the thumbs up button. Is that what the kids call it these days? Just smash the thumbs up button. Do me a favor. And if you like the video, please like the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. There you go. And I'll be back in 35 seconds. Boom. That was 35 seconds on the nose. I hope you timed me because I was correct. I was 100% correct. Hey, what's up? It's Lenny Schmidt. Welcome to my show. Lenny Schmidt's Content. That's it. That's as I'm stuttering, throwing things together. It's good to be here. I had a good, I burped. Sorry. Had a good weekend. And for those of you that are tuning in, they were here last week. Let me confirm a couple things real quick. I will be in Tulsa next month. Those dates are confirmed, and I will be there for sure at the Looney Bin. I know some people had questions. One of the followers, Larry Warden, sent me a promo for the show and said the dates are wrong. And I sent him a note back saying, this is last year, or the year before, because there were no shows last year. I think we know that. So next week, I will be at the Looney Bin, June 9th through the 12th. Also, I mentioned this last week, but I didn't confirm it, but I confirmed it over the weekend. I will indeed be on a ship in the late summer, it appears. So if everything goes well, I signed a contract to be on the Norwegian Joy for 4 weeks, starting on August 18th through September 20th. So that's my story, man. I'll be there with my good friend Spencer James, who ironically will be on the show in 2 weeks, and that's it. So if you guys were curious or you're asking questions or you're worried about me being on a ship, I am scheduled on Norwegian. We'll see if it happens. So. Besides that, I hope you're all enjoying not wearing your masks. I think that's happening now. There's a lot of... They didn't handle this no mask rollout. They handled the no mask rollout even worse than they handled the mask rollout. They didn't... You know what I mean? Because the second they said, well, you can take your mask off, then people... Because my daughter works at a place and then, people are coming in all day with no masks screaming, there's a new mandate! And my daughter's got to go, please. In California, it's another month. You have to do what the governor says. We have to follow... freedom. So there we go. So do what you gotta do. But I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying not wearing the mask as much as I used to. It's great. Someone asked me, I have friends that are still wearing their masks. They're like, dude, I don't know if I'll ever get rid of this mask. It's the best. I'm gonna wear it all the time just to be safe. How that makes me sad. That really kind of makes me a little bit. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm all for you. But For weeks now, I've had my hand on my mask and the other hand on the mouse, waiting for the CDC to say no more masks, so I can throw my mask out the window. So there you go. I have no problem not wearing the mask. Let's go to the news. There's not a lot of news. I don't want to get into the news, man. I'll be honest with you, I didn't have time to check it all. The White Sox are in first place. Let's leave it there. White Sox are in first place, the best record in baseball. That's all the news that really matters to anyone, I think, these days. Bill Gates had an affair. Really, that's weird. I didn't see that coming. And I guess that's it. That's all I have. Let's go to the board now. That's the important part. I have a lot of viewers here today. Holy cow. It's got to be Dan. No one shows up to see me. There's going to be a lot of people on here to see Dan. That's got to be it. So I see Shauna's here. Thank you very much for being here, Shauna. Robin Greenberg. Julia's here, who was our guest last week on Wednesday, as always. I think Dan mentioned to me your episode earlier today. He was watching while we were discussing vaginas. I think that's what was happening last week, right? The vajajas? There we go. Always discussing vajajas when Julia is on the show. Hello, Rachel Greenberg is here. Thank you. Or not Rachel Zimmerman is here. Robin Greenberg, who are now best friends. The Mulligans, Tammy Mulligan's here. Keith Runyon. You guys are great. Thank you so much for coming back regularly and supporting the show. Like the video, please, if you can. Look, I just like my own video. There you go. So, but thank you to all of you that have come in and showed up to see the show and supporting entertainers. Now, things are starting to get back to normal. We'll talk to Dan about some of that in a minute. But I like to do the show because most people in the show are an actor, a writer, producer, or somebody that really didn't. The last year's been weird for us, so we shifted. So it's kind of cool to talk to everybody, give everybody an opportunity to get out there and talk. And with that in mind, folks, I'm going to get to it right now. No long intros today, and I can do this because I can see him, so I know he's ready. So we're going to get right to it, folks. I originally met this guy in acting class. This is where I know him from. And he was one of the best actors I've ever seen. I love working with him. We never really worked together, but we read kind of together. I've always loved watching him work. I've always liked his work as an actor, and I'm honored to have him on the show today. Please give it up for the one and only. Here he is, Dan Thiel. Here he is, folks. Look, there you go. Look, there's applause. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You got a big audience there.
Yeah, I got there right over here. I crammed 20 people from my apartment complex.
Yeah.
I make them clap. That's what I do.
Man, the stutter hasn't come back since grade school, but that's all right.
Yeah, you think after 175 shows I'd figure that out.
You must be nervous about your ride on the Norwegian Joy coming up.
I'm kind of...
Is that a giant dildo? What is that?
It's a big ship. I've done it before, dude. I've done that ship before. It's one of their bigger, newer ships. I love it. It's a great ship, but we'll see. It depends on the rules when you get on there. They're all going to have different rules now, so I want to know what they are. Can I go to the gym? This is what I do in the ship, man. I get on. I go to the gym like every day. I do shows every night, and I write every night. And it's a pretty good pattern that I fell into that I liked. And
yeah, that's nice.
We're gonna have to see
if
you
get good weather the whole time. I shouldn't talk bad about them. I mean, they're hiring you, so I take back that original.
Let's all good things about.
Canceled this early. You can't do that.
Thanks a lot for canceling me right off the bat within your first 12 seconds.
Right.
That's nice to know. Oh, look, they just texted me. I'm done. I'm been canceled. All right, good, perfect. The weather will be good. We'll be in the Bahamas, brother.
Sunburn easily, though. You know, you're Irish, right?
I do. Yeah, I do. I burn on contact. You can hear my skin burn when I go outside. It's like immediate. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think I got the power of the sun right here on me right now.
Yeah, dude.
Don't go down. Don't worry about that.
I know. It's doing the show at this time is always weird because the sun goes down around this time. So for a while I have perfect light, and then it's gone. And everyone else is the same way. Some people end up by the time the show's over, you'll be in pitch blackness. That's the way I plan it.
Perfect. Good. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. If I was a comedian, that's how my show would end every night. They just turn the lights off.
That's good. They would just. It wouldn't even be like a hard blackout. It would be a slow fade of sadness. They would just cut you off. Right. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
Julia was hilarious. I watched your show with her. It's Julia, right?
Yeah, she's always hilarious.
You were on with? And I sympathize with the JJ stories just because I have a wife who's had 3 girls, and she got 2 C-sections, not my wife, but Julia, and mine just got torn up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have pictures. You're going to show some.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Let's show the feed. This will be a different show. This will be the show get us canceled for sure.
Live feed.
Wow, you set up a camera and everything. Wow, you took this seriously. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, we got way more viewers now. A whole bunch of people just viewed in. They're like, wait, live with JJ on the YouTube channel? I'm in.
All right. Well, and the Norwegian Joy is traveling through San Fernando Valley on its.
Yeah, they're gonna stop and pick me up. The corner of Ventura and Kester. Where are you at, brother? You're in LA area, right? But where?
I'm El Segundo.
Okay.
I'm in the Gundo, which is kind of they call it the Mayberry.
Did you say the Gundo?
South.
Did you say the Gundo?
Yeah.
Do they call it the Gundo?
It is the Gundo. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody local, it's the Gundo. And we got famous with the Quest. The tribe called Quest song, Left My Walton in El Segundo.
Oh, right. Okay.
Remember that one?
Nah, no, I'm not a big fan of that.
Because you're a hip-hop R&B.
Yeah. Well, if I can fit it in between my Metallica and my Motorhead, I can usually fix it a little.
Is that it?
Yeah, Metallica Motorhead.
Did you go to that Monster tour, Metallica and Guns N' Roses back in the day?
I missed I missed all those big tours, man, because I'm always on the road doing something. The last one I was at something called it was in Michigan a long time ago. It was a long time ago. But it was an all-day thing. Before they started doing these 3-day festivals, they do like Burning Man and what's the other one they do that's out there in the
Coachella.
deserts.
Yeah.
But I saw one. It was a great one.
It all started with Lollapalooza back in the day, which was fun.
Well, that's a Chicago thing, right? Where they were in. My daughter went to Lollapalooza in Chicago one year.
Yeah, they've definitely done a show in Chicago. I know they went down to Tennessee recently.
Do they go on the road? Like rotate?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm making that up.
Okay. I don't know. I'm taking you at your word. I think you're being 100% honest right now. I don't have no idea.
Pretty sure that was a decade ago, so that's way off. But.
Yeah. Well, time flies, man. Time flies when you have daughters. You have 3 daughters, man. You told me, right? Dude, you're in the same painful boat I am.
3 daughters. I mean, that was the thing. I came out here 20 years. I came out in 96. What is that? 24? I don't know. Long time ago. It's been a long, long time trying to make it at this stuff. And at the time, I traveled out here with my girlfriend from college. Had met in college at Miami University in Ohio. And she was dancing and I was acting. We kept it together for 7.5 years. And, she wanted to have kids right away. I think we were probably in about 28 years old and said, all right, let's go for it. Now, that definitely doesn't help your acting career where you got a whole new baggage. But it definitely gets you in that emotional point where you have all these new life experiences you can draw on when you're doing things.
Yeah, it might not help your acting career. I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I cut off my guest. I'm really bad at this.
A 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and going to be 12-year-old. So it's on. Every once in a while at this house, I just have to shelter in the back here in my podcast room.
Dude, I'm with do they call you Boomer yet? Are you getting that? You get called Boomer?
No, Boomer. Is that like baby Boomer? What's that?
Yeah, I get called Boomer all the time in this house. I think I'm
Boomer
older than you.
Esiason, left-hander. I'm a Bengals fan. I got Boomer Esiason underwear. My cousin does.
You're a Bengals fan? Are you really? Oh, you are. You're from Ohio. We play you the second week of the season. Huh?
You're Bears, right?
Yeah, we play you week 2.
Dalton, so
we do have
make
Dalton.
It to the playoffs 5 times in a row. You never win a game.
Yeah. Well, we also drafted a kid from your state, so I think we'll see what happens. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, Fields is going to be good. I love Fields. I think he's one of the best picks.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they don't give him a try, but he could sit in that pocket and throw dimes, but he doesn't have the strongest arm, and then he can run well as well, but he's a pocket passer.
Yeah, good. That's what we need. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
We'll see how that pans out, man. Okay, where was I going with this? I started. This Boomer. Yeah, they call me Boomer because they think it's funny. They think it's adorable because that's a slam from the kids these days. Is to call people Boomer. That's what they say a lot. They'll say okay, Boomer, anytime you say something, which basically means shut up, old man. That's what that means.
I'm glad that hasn't caught on here, but that may at some point. Now it probably will.
Yeah.
If they hear this at all, that's going to be.
Wait, we can insult Dad? This will be great. You're welcome. I give. Hey, why should I be the only guy to suffer? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, they're so smart now. It's like they got a way to get around everything. So you got to really stay on your toes.
Yeah, no, they're definitely way more. They are way more on it than I was at that age. You know what I mean? I was an idiot at 19, and they have way more information. So it's kind of cool though.
I got good kids though. I mean, my oldest is she works really hard, gets great grades, and she's focused. She wants to go to what's that school in Tennessee? Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, that's $65,000 a year, so let's go somewhere else.
Yeah. California's got a lot of schools. Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, it got really good schools. So we took her up to UC Santa Barbara, and she is sold. I was sold. I'm like, I'm moving in. This place is great. We're going to college here.
Let's do it. Woo!
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that school is right on a cliff overlooking the ocean, straight out to the Channel Islands.
Oh God, no way! That's amazing. Beautiful. I like that.
Yeah, gorgeous school.
Yeah, get her on the California.
So schools. You got 2 girls living there, right?
Yeah, mine was smart. My oldest is the same way. She's really into her grades. She's really focused, but she also wanted to go to junior college or Valley College, community college for 2 years to kind of get a feel for college and get her grades in order, and then go on to the university and stay in California. It's like she's really not only is she smart and studying, but she was all about the California school. She's like, why should I go anywhere and pay more money? I go, oh, I love you so much. You're the best daughter ever. Yeah,
good job, kid.
Yeah,
that's how you raise a kid.
Yeah,
right there.
Well, the second one wants to be
mine's sold now. Go ahead, sir.
The second one wants to be an actress, so I don't know how to handle that. So we're working our way through that. She's gonna go to community college and get a business degree. I said, just get a business degree. Just do something or focus on something.
At least she can, pull some stuff from you and all your knowledge.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, thanks.
I mean, after all these years, you have to have a lot of knowledge.
You do, but you got to know. Are any of your kids interested in going down the acting route or acting?
They aren't. I'm with SBV commercially, and so I have taken the whole family to some auditions on occasion, and they hate it. Now,
oh wow,
we've gotten called back before, and the director, is all the way in the back of the room, and just saying their name, they get petrified and would hide behind me. So we stopped doing that. Where I was like, I'll take you with me this time. Now it's just become burdensome. But over COVID, with now that you got to tape everything at home,
right?
You don't always have somebody to read with. So I'm like, hey, kids, I need somebody. Can you sound older? One, because they do sound like kids. So half of these auditions I'm sending in are probably terrible. But they're actually, the two youngest ones are very good. And the oldest is great, too. She just hates it.
Right.
She hates doing it. They all hate doing it. My wife hates doing it. Nobody wants to do it with me.
That's funny. My kids love it.
That goes general across the board.
I'm worried about my youngest wants to do it. Here's the thing that always worries me about it. I was talking to my buddy. I think I've mentioned this in the show before. There's a guy named Mark Gross, who's a comic, and he's a good friend of mine. He's a writer and a producer, works with Chuck Lorre a lot. And Mark is one of those guys that's always working. He's always got a gig. He's always on. He was on 2.5 Men. He was on the Billy Gardell show, the Mike and Molly. Then Mom. So he's doing all these shows. So his daughter wants to go into writing, and my daughter wants to go into stand up. And the conversation we had was this: the girls are like, "Well, we want to go into entertainment," and we try to explain to them, it's hard. It's a hard. It's just a different route. It's just harder. And you got to work. Yeah. It's hard to get work. And they're like, well, yeah, but you're always working. And you're like, yeah, but we're lucky. We're it's not that easy. They just see you working and think it's great. They don't realize what goes in behind it. So I want her to do what she wants to do, but I'm also kind of worried. It was not the easiest road in the world, bro. I mean, I look back at it now, I wouldn't do anything different, but there's a lot of struggle there.
I love when people say that. I wouldn't do it any different. I'd do half of it. I'd be like, yeah, no, remember that one time I went to that one premiere, and I would do that one different. There's a whole bunch I would love to redo. And I was, when we first came out here, I was just a terrible actor. So, you got to get in school and do all the work behind it all. And that's where, you said we met each other, and you get to work on everything from just getting something as a cold read to doing some scene study to comedy, drama. Right. You really get into it. And then you can start, once you get just basics down, then you can actually start getting into characters and really start working on projects better. So there's if I could go back and be the actor I am now and get the auditions I had back then, that's what would be great.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I would do that too. There's a few auditions I would redo. There's a few of those I look at and go, I would do that differently.
I had one that was one of the greatest auditions, and I've never had one like it again. I actually booked it. Was that first movie I was on, Deep Blue Sea, with Rennie Harlan. Yeah, Rennie had us with is that Mindy Marin, I think, if memory serves. But we were on a couch at Paramount. And the 4 actors that were going to be in this opening scene on a boat, and there's 3 guys and there's 2 girls. So the 2 girls booked it, right. And there's 3 guys. So one of us is not going to win this out.
Oh, and right.
We're all in the room together. We know what we're doing. So he had us do the entire scene where the couch is the boat and we're on this couch and the carpet is, the water. And you fall off in the water, and then you got to push each other back onto the couch. And then you're like, he's like, a shark's coming right now. And you're reacting to the shark. I mean, it was the strangest audition ever. And I was like, I'm going to book this thing. So I was totally into it. And, fortunately I had. And once you're on a show like that, you get the bug. Yeah. Because that was an $80 million film.
Yeah.
This is great.
That's Rennie Harlan, dude. That's big time.
Yeah. He'd just done Cliffhanger. And what was the one before? Die Hard 2.
Yeah,
that
dude, that's badass.
great.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, he was in his prime.
Yeah, that's really
and,
cool.
So for the table read, you had Sam Jackson there who like acts out his death.
Yeah.
Where when he gets killed by the shark, he's like, ah! You're like, this is going to be great. I love this stuff. You go down to Fox Studio Baja down in Mexico, and every day for lunch, breakfast, whatever, you're getting crab and sushi and everything. You're like, this movie set stuff is amazing.
Yeah, those are the gigs.
$80 million film. You get used to it, and then you get on indie projects and you're like, oh yeah, we get box lunch, and you're actually carrying everything yourself. Here, let me hold that light for you.
Yeah, you're helping the sound guys out. You're holding up microphones. You're paying for the pizza. You want me to pay for this? Yeah, right. I got the pizza. Just give me no problem.
Yeah, it distorted me early on.
Good times. That being said, let's show the clip. I got the clip right here, man. I got the clip to the Rennie Harlan movie. So can we show that? Can I show it? It's really up to you.
I don't know.
Let's give it a shot. Let's see. Again, this is from Deep Blue.
Academy Award scene.
This is the Academy Award scene.
Boy number 2.
He's boy number 2.
Deep Blue. 1999 or 98, right around there.
All right, this is my friend Dan Thiel from Deep Blue.
Feel something?
Yeah, I feel something. Hey, get back here. We're having a party, man. Let's rock it. I don't believe
Stop! Yeah. Okay. Did you hear that? Listen. What is that?
Everybody, shh. Stay up there. What is that?
Dude, how young were you in that movie? How old were you in that?
21, I think, maybe 22.
Did you say that was your first gig?
That was my first movie. I think I'd booked maybe a commercial prior to that, and then booked that job. I mean, I was as young as you can be, thrown on a boat in Mexico. They're like, yeah, just live it up down here, and we kind of improv'd for the most part of that. But how'd you like that teddy bear drop, that visual effect into the ocean there?
That's why I had to leave it. I was going to cut after that. I was looking where to start the clip, I go, where should I do? I wanted the first scary part, and then yeah, that was pretty cool. He drops in and just starts falling down there. That's classy. I like it, dude. That was good, dude. You're spoiled your first gig, man. That's very cool.
It was. I mean, and the blonde there is Aaron Bartlett. Aaron Bartlett ended up marrying Oliver Hudson. So I'm basically like a degree away from Kate Hudson.
Sure.
Right
yeah,
there.
you're right around the corner.
That should give me props for something. I don't know.
Did you put that on your resume? You should.
Yeah, I should. I'm like, I'm sort of related to her, I think, at this point.
Sort of related. Sort of distantly.
The other girl's Sabrina Gehring. She was a supermodel that Rennie had met in Europe and was like, oh, I'll put you in my movie. And the first night we got to Mexico, she was out there with Peter Beard, who was this famous photographer who, passed away, unfortunately. He actually had gone missing in New York in like 2020, and nobody knew what happened to him. They found his body, days later in some park.
That's horrible.
But a famous photographer, he did all these action shots of wildlife down in Africa. Ended up getting stepped on by an elephant. Ooh. So he walked with a limp. I mean, he almost died getting stepped on by this elephant. But he makes these amazing photography, and then he would do like calligraphy around the edges of all of his photos. Peter Beard, really cool dude. Actually, David Spade has a Peter Beard, or he did, a photo in his house, which was pretty cool. I know you were in Joe Dirt, right?
Yeah, we're talking about first big movies. Joe Dirt was my first.
Here.
Yeah, look at that. Nice segue. Look at you, dude. You're natural at this. This is you got it built in. Yeah, Dave. That was my first big gig. Was Joe Dirt, and we shot. That was a little different. I wasn't on a boat in Mexico. I was in the desert here in California. But
yeah, no.
It was a cool gig. It was a great gig. I mean, it was awesome. It was another thing that was a huge production. You know what I mean? I mean, there's where they have fillets for snack. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So that first night, Peter Beard's there with Sabrina, and we all go out to meet each other because that was the first time we saw. Hey, we all booked it, and that other guy didn't. I feel bad for him. But I was so fortunate it was me that actually took it. And he's like, hey, anybody want an appetite enhancer? We're like, oh, yeah. So we go outside on the streets of Mexico with a little doobie, and, here's the federales rolling by. And we're like, do you got to worry about that? And he's like, no, we own this place. And so that was the whole film productions thing. They had built this studio for Titanic down in Mexico, and they kind of ran the place.
Oh, no way.
But, yeah, that was a good time. It was fun.
I bet.
And then, Rennie, he ended up inviting us all to his 40th birthday party up there in the Hollywood Hills. So we got to, do that whole extravaganza, which was incredible.
Look at you, man. That was all. You're badass in your early 20s. You fucking walked right in the door.
Finally circled it back a little bit and worked with Todd Smith with LL Cool J on NCIS LA and brought those days back up. And he's like, oh, yeah. Because, you never really meet anybody. I don't know about you. Do you get, you probably are much closer to some of your comedy friends, but in the film TV world, you work with these guys and you're friendly, and you're like, oh, let's all stay in contact, and then you never see the people for 20
you never see them again. That depends. When you get involved in a project and you end up hanging out with the people you're on or you're with, you know what I mean? So, and then you move on to another project. It's like series to series, film to film, I guess,
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you catch up with your own crew, I guess, but I always had kind of my crew out here who were all from college,
right?
And everybody did other things than entertainment.
Right.
Which is good. It was good and bad. Didn't move you up the network, but solid friends.
Yeah. Well, most of my guys are comics, and I only see them when I'm in town here. Because when you're on the road, none of us really work together when we travel. Because now we're all at the point where we're closing or headlining clubs. So when you go to a club, more there's usually a local guy opening for you. You know what I mean? So you don't get on the road with someone that you know. If you get on a ship, sometimes you're working with a guy that you know for like a week, like I mentioned earlier. And most of the time, it's somebody. It's great. Like this gig coming up in Norwegian in August is a good friend of mine. I'm really good friends with him, and we both shoot stuff. So he shot a short film with me, kind of like a documentary when I was in Vegas in February. And I'm bringing my camera equipment, so we're going to shoot stuff on the ship for like 3 weeks. So we got a bunch of stuff planned.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that.
Do you guys write new material while you're on the ship, or is it kind of consistent with the stuff you have?
Well, I do, but you also do you do a lot of shows.
Is it like a regular comedy club where you're just like, let's try this material tonight?
You know what?
How they react.
Well, you like on the cruise ship thing, I'll sneak a little bit of new stuff in. I have a pattern. At the 20-minute mark is where I sneak in new material if I think that's where the stuff I'm writing on. Otherwise, I'll create stuff on the spot. Like I improv a lot of stuff. So if I find something, and I tape every show. So if I tape something that goes good, then I'm good. But anything written I've been writing, I'll try around 20 minutes because you don't get a lot of leeway. You can't really do a bad show on the ship. You can't do, you know what I mean? You do 1 or 2 bad shows and you're done. You're just not going to hire anymore. You know,
that's when you just fake the stomach flu and you're like, hey, I don't want to get the whole ship stomach flu.
I got the thing. Yeah, I think I should be quarantined. Just to be safe. You have to hide yourself. Yeah, but I try to.
You get hooked up with Joe Dirt though. Did you just audition for that, or did Spade know you from the comedy?
No, I didn't know Spade at all. I'll be honest with you. I knew someone that was an assistant to one of the producers. And she got me an audition, and I drove down to Sony when it was down. It was down on
casting couch or just a friendly handshake.
Just a friendly handshake. I walked in met the casting person, and dude, it was like I knew I had the gig. It was my gig to lose. It was one of those deals where I knew the right person. I walked in. That got me my SAG card too. So I walked in the door. I read the script, and they said, "Okay, you're booked." I said, "Okay," and I was out the door. So
I got my SAG card. I did the extra route when I first came out here. I didn't know anybody, so I went straight to extra and. Like, all right, so I ended up on Friends, and there's some funny episode where on Seinfeld actually, where they're in the diner and somebody is choking in the diner, and it like they scroll up and there's me like this guy's dying, and I got my like long hair still from straight out of college.
Oh no way!
Oh my gosh, that's like the first thing I probably ever did out here. That was amazing. But same deal, like on Friends and that same type of thing. And then I got my SAG card on Seventh Heaven. I'd been doing it for 3 weeks. And once I did it, I was like, okay, I'm done. I got my SAG card. I can become SAG.
Right.
And then, didn't book any auditions for the next 2 years. Probably.
Yeah, right. That's the
like
thing.
That.
Yeah. You're so excited to get it. They tell you that when you get the card or when you're Taft-Hartley or whatever, they go, all right, slow down. Yeah. You might want to do both.
One line.
Yeah.
Come on. You were the security guy, whatever.
Yeah. Ride out the non-union thing. Yeah. Ride the non-union thing as long as you can, blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh, what? No way. I want to be SAG. And then you get it, and then you're right.
Seventh Heaven was Jessica Biel. And even the producers were like, oh, she's only 15, but look at her photos. They had photos of her everywhere. And it was kind of creepy. You're kind of like, they were really in love with just how gorgeous she was. And she was.
Right.
But it was a scene where she's like, who's that guy? And it's in the kitchen. And it was me. They're like, hey, you're going to be the featured extra. She likes you. And I'm like, ooh, this is how you get on the show.
Wow. Right on.
But it wasn't. That's how I got my graduation pin that, my Mont Blanc, my dad had given me stolen on the set. I went in to shoot that scene. I came back and my pen was gone.
No.
Thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I lost my pen. This is terrible. So that's when you're like, all right, I got to give up being a business person, which my dad wanted me to be. And
when you lost the pen, that was
it. I lost my pen.
I'm sorry, Dad. That was probably a very elaborate scam that Jessica Biel put together. You know what I mean? She probably had it set up so you could go in there so that her friend could steal the pen. I bet that was the deal.
Ironically, she lived out here in El Segundo with a family friend that we know, and they were her guardian.
In the
Gundo? I don't know where she was from. Yeah. So she was in the Gundo.
She was in the Gundo.
Full circle in the Gundo. I mean,
wow, yeah, dude. How cool is that? Dude, everything comes around, man. Everything comes back around.
That's right.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's good. But Spade, though, I ended up, random jobs that you kind of have in this industry, I ended up as an assistant to Christy Swanson.
Oh, right on. Okay. Geez, really? You went the assistant route?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Only I had a buddy who was working for her, and I had just lost a job, and he was like, "Hey, I think she's looking for somebody." So I ended up as an assistant for 8 months, that type of thing. But it was right when she had booked the Playboy centerfold. So the first gig of showing up, hey, I want to introduce you and see if this is going to work out, was all the centerfold photos on her kitchen table of hey, which photos do you guys like? It's like, all right, this kid's not bad. Yeah. I'll stick around. But that took us to she was on Just Shoot Me, with Spade.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
It was an episode where Chris Farley's brother, was on it. And Kevin looks and sounds just like Chris.
Yeah.
So, we're sitting there, and it's just, at the time, it was the three of us. And it was one of those moments where, I hadn't been out in Hollywood long enough to know, like, oh, you can't talk to celebrities. And I've never really felt that way either. So I always talk to anybody. And there was a lull in the conversation. I go, hey, Kevin, I was like, I don't want to be out of place. I just want to tell you, man, you sound just like Chris. And I freaking loved your brother, man. He was hilarious. And that just changed the whole tone. And Spade and Farley sat there for the next hour telling stories. As I sat at that table, it was like the conference room for Just Shoot Me. And, they weren't shooting for another couple hours, and they sat there and just told Chris stories. And it was like, this is golden.
Oh, that's very cool.
Great.
Yeah, that's great, man. I met
the assistant route sucks though. I don't recommend that to anybody.
Yeah. I don't know anyone that's done the assistant gig that likes it. I don't know. Not one person that has done it that said, you should absolutely do it. It's a great way to make money. No, nobody says
no. It's one of those of like, I wanted to do it to see all the scripts and try to work on things, try to work that aspect of, hey, let's work on these different projects together. It just wasn't like that, but it was fine. I mean, good people. No, it's all good.
Yeah, that's good.
I can't talk about that time period.
You can't talk about that time?
I signed a non-disclosure.
Oh, do you have a whole NDA? All right, right on. Well, respect it. I don't want to get you in trouble, dude.
It's still active, I'm sure.
There's no expiration date on those things.
Otherwise, there's plenty of stories there. Jeez.
So are you hang on, we're going to go to the board. People ask questions, and there's a bunch of questions coming in. So let's get to this.
Dude, this could get dangerous.
Yeah, I know. We're going to find out.
Well, I tell you what, you're looking. I'm just going to make myself a cocktail.
Yeah, oh, look at you, winner. Smart man.
There you go.
Ratchet. What's Ratchet?
Oh, Ratchet. That's Ryan Murphy's show.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we were talking. All right. Tammy Mulligan says she's a big fan of Ratchet. How was that for you? She loves the gore.
Yeah. I mean, the show's amazing. Ryan Murphy actually just is a great director and producer on all the picks. He's very involved. So, the look and feel of them are amazing. So that's, from American Crime Story, I've done a couple projects with him, and then Ratchet. I actually was excited. I had what I thought was a great role as Richard Cartwright, who is Lily's husband. Lily is Annie Stark, Glenn Close's daughter.
Okay.
And she was a pretty big character of where, I bring her into the hospital. I admit her into the hospital and worked with John from Class. John.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, no way. That's very cool. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, so it's the kind of background with that is John Briones, great actor, had been on Broadway doing, Miss Saigon. He was the engineer. And, he actually started as an actor as, I don't know what role, but he was 17 dancing and, singing on Miss Saigon in London. So he was in the original production. The engineer's the main guy. He's the whorehouse runner in Shanghai. Okay. Or in Saigon. Right. So he was just amazing. So I went out to New York at some point and saw him in Miss Saigon. He incredible. So the lead actor from American Crime Story, Versace, saw him on Broadway and was like, oh, you got to be in this. And he ended up playing his father on that. And then he booked Ratchet as the doctor, the main doctor, who they killed off, which I couldn't believe. So this girl's got to be like, oh my God, they killed off, John. But I had this amazing scene with John of where I admit Lily into the hospital because she's a lesbian. And I want them to cure her of her lesbianism.
Of being a lesbian? Sure. That's what they did back then.
Yeah, So I was like, torture her and, do whatever you need to do.
Whatever you need to do.
I have this huge fight scene with John, and then I have 2 other episodes of where they basically show me kind of storm in when Lily's, having cunnilingus from the neighbor. And there's one other scene, I think, that we had together, and it all got cut. So when I saw that, I told everybody to watch it.
Oh, no.
You put it out there to everyone. And I did it really cautiously too, because I had been in American Crime Story Versace and had 3 scenes, and all except one got cut. They turned one of them into like a voiceover, somebody leaving a message on a machine.
Okay.
And so that was like the main people of the main scene. They all got just turned into a message. I was like I think in that show I was, what was it? It was like Jeff's sister's husband. So that's,
Right.
Spaceball terms, your sister's wife's nephew's.
Yeah, right.
What is that? Absolutely nothing. So, and that's what I was. I was absolutely nothing. But they showed me in one scene where I kind of push her into a hospital, this pregnant woman, and then she's going to have a baby, and we find out Jeff dies. All of that got cut except me pushing her into a hospital in the voiceover part. So I was kind of prepared that I could get cut out of Ratchet.
Yeah,
but
right.
I was like, no, the scene was awesome. Like, I did some great work, I think.
Yeah.
And that got cut too. So I know, they didn't make Annie Stark's character a central character. They really kept it with, Sarah Paulson's Ratchet character and Cynthia Nixon and man, the other guy's slipping me. Great actor too. But they kept it central to their characters, so they didn't need it. And you just end up on the cutting room floor. So there's all these shows where you're like, oh, what were you in that? And you're hoping to have that tape.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm going to use this tape to go get into every audition for the next year and a half.
Show you the actual work I did. I was always afraid to tell people when it came to see. You know what I used to think about was I used to hate. I had a lot of commercials that I shot that never aired. So like I was one of those guys. I had maybe 5, and back at the time they were what do they call it?
The ones that
networks.
make you a millionaire.
Yeah. 5 network spots in a row. In fact, I left my agent one year because it's long. I don't want to get too into it, but I had a great commercial but no theatrical, and this theatrical agent wanted to sign me, but they wanted to take me commercially too. And I go, well, I don't want to leave my commercial agent because they're great. And they go, yeah, but we want to build a commercial department around you, and then we can kind of use you as our main guy. And so when I booked I booked a bunch of nationals in a row, and I go, you know what? I think now might be a good time to take that gamble. So I took the gamble and I went.
That's how you thank your agent who just got you all that work, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, they were great. I'm with them now. I got news for you. I'm back with that commercial agent now. Okay, I mean, so I've been back. Yeah. We've always had a good relationship. In fact, she was at the time.
Who are you with?
They're Robertson Taylor now is who they are. The agent is Brian Dusang is the agent there, and he originally Brian and Mandy Rice go back to Talent Works before, and before Talent Works they were Acme, and I was with Acme.
Oh yeah.
And Emily ran Acme, and Brian was there. So I've been with Brian for maybe, 20 years, a long time. But then when Acme dissolved, sold their commercial department to Talent Works, Emily and everybody went to Talent Works. Eventually, Brian ran the show, and I stayed there. I left him when they were at Talent Works, and then went over to Ellis Talent, and they brought in a commercial guy to handle the commercial department. Right. I didn't go out on one audition for 9 months, not one commercial audition for 9 months. And
but they were getting you out theatrically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, I had booked theatrically. I went out and booked right away theatrically. But
no, I tried to get in with Ellis at one point, and they're like, "I'm sorry, Dan. We don't like you."
They're small.
And that's the story of my life.
They're small. They're a small boutique. I got in. It was a long. I still talk to Pam every once in a while. She's very sweet, and who knows what's going on now, But anyway, I brought this up because I was talking about. I always afraid to tell people when I'm on something. I always think about the storyline and how important my scene was to the through line of the episode. So I'm like, if it's important, I'll tell people. I'll go, oh yeah, I'm in this this scene.
Oh, I thought mine was for sure. There's no way we're getting cut. And then John, he sent me a notice. He's like, I just saw the episode and you're not in it. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, that's the worst.
It was killer. It was pretty bad. But I figured they owe me. Not that they'll remember that. They got too many awards to count. He did it. He had a good year.
Yeah.
He had a really good year.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think he'll be all right.
But commercial-wise, my first commercial before Deep Blue Sea, I'd booked this. I can't. Who did the truck commercial that was like a rock? Was that Chevy?
Oh, Chevy. That was Chevy.
Yeah, it was a Chevy truck commercial.
It was Bob. Yeah, Bob Seger through line like a rock. Chevy.
Yeah,
Chevy
I
Silverado, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Back then, this is like 98. I got flown up to Golden, Colorado, like a gold mining town. I was, looking all Brad Pittish. I had a goatee and some longer hair. And they're like, hey, we're pairing you up with your dad and your grandpa. And these guys were cool, and we all got together and they were shooting one scene and we had to go travel to this little small farm hangar. It was like a small airport. And Dad was going to drive in the big airplane engine on the back of the truck. And then it's the picture of the three of us, like a rock at the very end with the sun setting and the plane and everything. And they took too long on the one shot. And so we're traveling over and you see like it's sunset. So the sun's setting and it's going down. Oh. And you're like, no, we're not there yet. We're just like, everybody start driving faster, drive faster. So the sun sets. They don't have the shot set up yet. And they're like, okay, we're going to backlight the whole barn and everything. And you could just tell they didn't like it. They didn't like how it looked and they didn't use it. That commercial, the other kid who was in it, and I knew him, he ended up becoming a casting director actually. He made like $265,000 on that commercial. Ran for only a couple years, but back then he made some big bucks.
Yeah.
And so that one hurt. That one hurt a little bit. But I've stayed. I actually, like you, I ended up with Sutton Barth and Venari, and Rita Venari, an Ohio girl, knew Candy Kanicki. And I don't think they actually hooked me up with them. But at one point, I know I lost my manager and my theatrical agent because they had, I've worked an NAFTA job and NAFTA took all my money. And they're like, hey, Dan, you owe us money. And I was like, I haven't been paid yet. What are you guys talking about? I haven't been paid.
Right.
And they're like, well, you owe us money. And I'm working, I'm barely making rent. And I actually never did make rent back then. I think my buddies were picking it up for me, but because I was waiting tables.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, when I get paid, I'll pay you guys. And then they just dropped me out of the blue. I never did get paid. After took that money and I never worked another job again.
Oh, no way.
For another 10 years. But Pam Sparks from Sutton Barth and Venari, who had been there forever, stood up for me and said, I like Dan. We're not dropping him. And they had my back and she kept me. And I was like, I'm staying with you guys forever. So I've been with SBV since I came out here. Now it's, Rachel Fink. Yeah. She has a kid and, Charisse Long, she has a kid. So it's been interesting during COVID because everybody had kids and they're all working from home. It's like, oh man, now they all get to spend the unintended benefit of the whole thing is people got to spend a lot of quality time with their kids and they probably would have been shuffling that or quit being an agent. One of them was considering and she was able to come back and be an agent because you can do it all on the phone.
Right. Yeah. Cause it changed the whole business, completely changed in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Going forward,
doing a podcast and, where are we right now? Are we in the bedroom? Is this the guest room?
This is my studio, Dan. Thank you very much.
You got your own back studio.
This is my own. This is a green screen. Behind me is a whole sound stage. I'm doing another production right after this.
Fantastic. You are in San Fernando.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
The Norwegian Joy is just about to come in.
That Norwegian Joy's got nothing on me. No, this is my bedroom / studio. We moved in the middle of COVID, actually, because my youngest moved in right before COVID, and we needed more space. And before, I used to shoot in the dining room. So when I shot, the kids couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? They had to hide in a room. So now I'm in here. They don't care. Plus, I can hide from them.
I mean, 3 kids. I work from home, too. Not acting. I have a couple other companies I had started, and on the phone all the time, everybody's just vying for internet. You're like fighting each other off. Like, hey, I'm trying to send something. Can everybody just get off?
Turn off your phone for just 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes.
They got their phone. They got their iPads. They have their school iPad probably. So
right.
It's like, come on, shut one of them down. But they're multifunction. They can do them all at the same time.
Daddy's got to upload a scene. Come on, let's go.
That's right.
That's funny.
Yeah, I ended up doing the whole gig with the garage. I set my garage up so I can actually film. Auditions that come in. Oh, that's great. Like I was saying, my kids and my wife hate shooting with me. If I do it with my wife, the read is as dull as any the worst casting director ever. That's your fear. You go in and casting just
sure.
And your next
Yeah, someone doesn't care.
Nah.
They're giving you nothing. Put down the gun. You're scaring me. What?
Exactly. Wow. Really believe that one. That's where you just laugh. And
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going to shoot and fucking kill you right here.
Thanks for
They're
helping
like,
me
oh,
get
shit,
in the
I
moment.
was really scared from you. You're like, I was really going to kill you.
I was really gonna kill you because I couldn't. You know what I'm saying?
You're terrible.
I always and if I had to read with like because if you read with someone like that, like with your wife or your kids, when they don't want to read, it's hard to do that audition too because you know they don't want to read. You know what I mean?
Oh,
For
yeah.
me, it's always hard. You're like you want to get it done. You're like I really want to get this done because I know they're not happy and they're like let's do it one more time. Like, fine. Yeah. And they're not even doing anything. They're just sitting in a chair reading you the lines.
My oldest daughter had a friend of hers, a girlfriend of hers, who was an actress, and she wanted to be an actress. And I was like, oh, I called her once. I said, Olivia, bring your friend over, and I'll do it with her.
Great.
But then it was me like coaching her. Like she was terrible. She was worse than any of my kids.
Now it's like an acting
like,
class.
oh.
You're like, no, this is an audition. I
an
have no time for this. Let me get one good read and then I'll give you some pointers afterwards. Let's just go.
It was tough. But now I got actually 2 really good actresses out here in El Segundo that we just call on each other and we can work together. Jen Sagan and Ashley Wood, who is now Ashley Wood Garcia. That is her last name. But in these times you gotta have a little ethnicity to your name.
Oh, is that what she did? She threw in the Garcia?
These auditions, I think. Okay. Yeah. It's good. They're great actresses though. Jen works all the time. Jen has been getting a ton of gigs recently.
Good for her, man. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I when I got on the ships, I stopped. I lost my theatrical and my manager. Maybe about after 5 years on ships because I'm gone all the time. I'm never here. I'm always on the road or I'm always on a ship. So when I got back, I still have commercial again, but I still don't have theatrical because I just wasn't around. But this last year, when we started, and even then, I was reading and uploading stuff from the ship. I was uploading scenes from the ship, which was. Totally. And I would read with cast members. I knew dancers and stuff. I would go, hey, you want to come back and read a scene? So there's a good friend of mine who I threw around my cabin.
Oh yeah,
that's my own.
Back here.
Hey, I got this script.
Come
on by my place. I get this camera set up here. Let's go.
Do you like Hootie and the Blowfish? I have that on CD.
Don't worry about this incense. It's for ambiance. Okay, let's go.
The old casting couch with Lenny.
Yeah, in the cruise ship, which is very classy.
Yeah. Now it's like you were asking, hey, what kind of work have you been doing during the break? What are you doing before this when we're just rapping and you do anything? You kind of work wherever, but it's been fortunate that we work in Candy's class and you meet a lot of good actors and they all are doing it. So I just did a project in Montana, Wilderness Retreat, this great comedy. Hopefully it turns in great. They try to shop it as a full feature and/or sitcom, and if not, they'll put it out there as webisodes and get the work out there. So get good tape playing a funny character out of Montana that has this ad executive out of San Francisco who comes out to really they ship her out because they're going to end up moving her to Montana, but it turns into some funny situations.
Is it a fish out of water thing?
A lot of ad libbing out of that one.
Oh, well, really? Oh, right on, man. That's good.
Yeah. You're the Montana guy, and you got this woman from San Francisco.
Sure.
He's got an opinion about everything.
That's comedy written all over it.
It was fun.
That's joke after joke right there. Where's my latte?
I don't know if they'll use it. I was having a good time. Yeah. The webisodes could be canceled, but I gave them enough material to hashtag the hell out of everybody politically.
Oh, good, right on. That's good, man. Yeah, I talked to you when you were up there on that gig. What's Tug of War? You talked to me about this before too, man. Can you tell me something about?
Yeah, Tug of War is awesome. Phil Partman is the writer director of Tug of War. It's a sci-fi action romance. Yeah, and it's basically a rancher on a agricultural planet in the colonies. This is in the future. And I'm a drunken spaceboat captain, Buck Schroeder, who after a series of mishaps, gets sent down to basically sober up and find a home for this puppy, Buster. And while I'm there, I meet Kate, and she has some odd jobs for me. And then the Great White Battleship declares war against this planet. And so I pick her up. We're hiding out from the main ship, and from then on, it's just survival until she convinces me to take on the battleship at the end, and who knows what happens.
Dude, that movie literally has everything.
It does.
You explain that movie. It's got a puppy. Come on, it's got everything you could possibly think of. And I have the trailer.
Philip's done the cinematography as well, and it is so visually appealing. We've been putting this together, and now I'm a producer on the project, and we're so close. We got international sales. We're literally at profit with the pre-sale numbers, so we're getting to a point of where we need that investor who says, okay, let's get the actors attached. That'll unlock, we'll get a loan on the pre-sale capital, and that's basically how we're going to make this film.
Right.
That's without doing a studio with the agencies kind of control the film money.
Right.
And so they kind of rewrote how you do it. If it's not their project, I don't know how these things get done. So that's been the funny thing is in 20 years in business, the smaller projects can get made because you can do it with friends, family money.
Right.
The bigger project, this is over a $2 million budget, but that's still a small budget for how sexy this film looks. I mean, it looks like a $20 million film.
Yeah, it looks great.
And so you can sell it for big money. And I think, I'm hilarious.
I'm hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good movie. And so, now we want to try to get Susan Sarandon on board. We'll try to get somebody like Delroy Lindo, maybe Keith David. Love Keith David. So we'll see where this goes. We get a couple names attached. That'll unlock some of this funding, and then we get the rest of it shot. All
right, I'm going to show the trailer. I saw the trailer just a little while ago, so I'm going to play
hey,
now.
This is just the teaser. This is some temporary stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is basically what's gotten us to pre-sale money, so distribution. But this is, we've only shot maybe 30% of the film, and all the visual effects you'll see are done directly by Philip himself. So this is a really independent project.
Okay. All right, right on. Here we go. So here is the teaser for Tug of War.
Rock and roll.
Listen to the channel. There's a lot of chatter about the war coming out here.
There always is. Thought the war was ending.
Wake up, spaceman. Buzz off, shithead.
Morning, ma'am. Can I help you?
Do you think it's a little early to be drinking, Captain?
I'm on vacation. Get out of here, you prick.
You having a good time?
Yeah. There's a storm coming.
Get off my land. Take your sons with you.
Where are we going?
Follow me.
See what I can do about you. But you have to help. You think she's trouble?
Nice. Dude, I love that.
Yeah, baby.
Dude, it looks dynamite. You're right. It looks like an awesome...
She is trouble.
She is trouble.
All women are trouble, but she's trouble.
She's trouble. Dude,
I mean, we should get this sponsored. I'm walking around with a bottle the whole time.
Is that,
Maybe I can get some bourbon sponsors.
Is that Knob Creek? I'll reach out.
That's Knob Creek. Where's our video here?
That's
Number
it.
9.
There you go.
10-year-old.
Dude, I wanted to show that teaser really bad. I love anytime somebody finds a way to shoot or produce or get their own movies done. You were talking about how hard it is to work in the system, and everybody's got their own rules, and there's so much shit going on. I had Jill, Michelle Gillon on a few weeks ago. She just released her own film, which was a kind of a zombie mafia movie, which is a great idea for like the family witness protection program gets caught in the middle of a zombie thing, but she did it on her own.
That? Did you tell her about your mafia vampire gig?
She was the one that did that. She would, ironically.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, she was the one. She was the counselor in that. She was the. Oh no! I did another zombie. Wow, I've done more zombie shit than I thought I did. The zombie thing was the True Blood thing was. That was I got eaten alive by vampires, but I did a short zombie marriage therapy short years ago, and she was the producer on that. So,
nice.
Yeah. Right. So, but she did her own. But hopefully, she worked with Carlos Alazraqui, who does a lot of voiceover work, and he's doing very well. He's doing very, very well. And she was talking about the script, and they had some ideas, and he goes, "Why don't we just produce it ourselves?" And they did. Yeah. They shit it. They got it done. They shot it. They released it.
This is harder to do when it's so expensive. I mean, you can see that looks amazing. Dude,
that's like that's major fucking.
That's like. Yeah, you're trying to make a kind of trailer when you haven't shot anything. And all those effects are pretty much temporary, but they're getting pretty finished. Yeah. And, we can use one of the top visual effects houses, and we have pricing from there to kind of get this thing done, but we can also do it in-house. So there's ways where, we've come up with 3 different budgets, and depending on who gets involved, we're going to finish this thing.
That's great.
So at this point, you're basically, Philip's put a lot of money, all the money he can into it himself. And now I'm on board, and we're trying to bring people to the table. So hopefully we get it done.
Good. Yeah. Good luck.
So you guys listening to Lenny's show, since, you're all self-made billionaires on Bitcoin, go ahead and give me a call.
Dude, I'm going to tell. And in the bio afterwards, I always put links and stuff. So I'll put a link to the website and make sure everybody knows exactly what to look for to find that. And it'll be on YouTube forever. Speaking of YouTube, let me go here. I got more questions. I want to get to these because everybody has questions for you, and I don't want to ignore these guys because they show up. They're here, man. Okay, I did the ratchet question. This is a tough question. Oh wait. Oh my God, that's a tough question. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
All right, here's a good one. This is from Rachel Zimmerman. Dan, do you have a favorite type of role, like comedy, drama, horror? What genre, or what do you like doing most of the time? Do you have something you lean to?
I used to think like, oh, I want to just always be dramatic, but I feel like I got a niche for comedy.
Yeah.
Like you get into comedy because you can go in so many different places. You can say anything, and you're like, oh yeah, I can work it that way.
Yeah.
So I just shot for some indie film. And the role is hilarious. Some arsonist podcaster living from Alabama, living in the Salton Sea. I'm like, this is oh yeah, I'm all over this.
This is gold.
What is what I brought to it?
Did you?
But yeah, comedy allows you to kind of go a little AWOL and be outside of your element, whereas drama is fun. I feel like I book more drama because I can rely on some of the things that happen in your life and bring it back into the part and make it real.
Right.
Really work the truth of the character.
Right on. All right. So that was a question that was from Rachel Zimmerman. Brenda usually asks a lot of questions. Here's a couple. Oh, all right. I'll ask this one. Why not? Do you have a favorite actor that you have worked with? Also a tough question, but
that is a tough question. You got to kind of think back, like, I worked with Jamie Chung and Brian Greenberg on a film, A Year and Change, and had a great time working on that. Just very real. It was one of those independent dramas, just a slice of life drama. written by a buddy of mine, a guy who unfortunately moved to Maryland. So we ended up shooting in Maryland, but it was like my 4th project with him. And I'm like, hey, you can't move. You're the guy I work with.
Where are you going?
So he's got to come back. But no, good project. And they were just quality people. But, you know, I don't think there's ever been a time where there wasn't somebody I didn't love working with.
Right.
It's always good. Rocky Carroll. NCIS.
Oh, right on,
Cincinnati guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's a Cincinnati guy? That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, hey, Rocky, I just saw you're from Cincy. And, you know, next day he's wearing his Reds cap. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's on. So I had a top-of-show guest star on that show. And as the guest star, I was in the really unique position of where on the show, I was in their office and everybody on the show was in the office at once.
Wow.
And as Michael, you know, the main character was about to take off, he's taking his stuff on. I go, hey, Michael, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, top of show guest star wants a picture. and then all the people on the whole show were like, oh, I want to get in this picture because, you know, they've gotten like 2 pictures as a whole show together before.
Right.
So I have a picture with the entire cast, and then they're like, don't put that out there anywhere.
You can, but just you can't share that. Just hide that somewhere.
I will at some point, but yeah.
Years down the road.
Once that show's off the air, but I think they're on their 12th season, 13th season, so they're doing pretty well.
Dude, that show's been around. I did that show. They're great.
Mark Harmon was awesome. You know, Mark Harmon on that show.
Dude, I spent all day. I hung out with Mark Harmon all day. I had a call time at 6 a.m., but I didn't shoot till 7 p.m. I was the last shot of the day, and we sat around and talked football and sports and all kinds of shit all day.
Oh yeah, I mean, having the football background. And then, he had his car there. His car was like, I don't know, probably worth $2 million.
Yeah.
He pulls up. I'm like, what is this car? And he's like, you know. So we got into that for a little bit. And then he's like, he did ask me, though, which is always good to, you know, it's a good question just to throw at people. But if there is some movie that comes on cable or TV that you always end up watching, you know, what is it? And I was like, ooh. That's a good question. I was like, you know, the opening scene of Gladiator, if that comes on, I'm in.
Yeah.
I was like, Braveheart, same kind of deal.
Yeah.
I was like, but, you know, if summer school's on, I might check out summer school. He was like, all right, that's good. That's good. His was The Natural. I was like,
that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, I can go Tombstone. I'll go Tombstone, any scene in Tombstone, and
that's on so often. You're probably just watching TV.
Yeah, I hate this. Sometimes I don't turn the TV on. And Blues Brothers. That's another one. Blues Brothers is another one where I'm going, all right, I got to watch this.
Chicago.
Yeah, I know I'll know. I could tell you when a scene comes on how much time is left in that movie. You know what I mean? Wherever the scene is, I go, oh, it's just 42 minutes. I got 42 minutes. Let's just kill 42 minutes to watch the back end of this movie.
You know what was cool? I just worked with E.G. Daly. We'll do some name dropping. I don't know if anybody remembers her, but Better Off Dead. You remember Better Off Dead?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like Cusack, John Cusack, straight out of Chicago. But no, E.G. was the musician who sings the song in Better Off Dead, you know, where they're at like a homecoming or a prom or something.
Right.
And he's there with his French, you know, foreign exchange student, and she's the hot chick singing the song. And I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows her as like the voice for Rugrats. But we were in this the Valley Girl remake as a musical. So picture that.
Nice.
But I'm sure you saw that, right?
How did I miss those tickets?
Right. But I had a small scene and she was doing a cameo. And so she was my wife. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right on. That's a good one.
She was fun to hang out with. Yeah.
Nice, right on. All right, man. Let's see if there's any one more question before. This is good. Oh, Dan, what do your kids think about you being an actor?
They dig it. You know, I ended up. This is why though, because if you know, they want me to be on one of their kid shows, and I ended up being on. Oh my gosh, name slipping me. The Candace Cameron Burry.
The Fuller House. I saw that in your thing. Yeah, I saw Fuller House. Yeah, right. I saw that in your IMDb. All right.
Canceled right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm Tommy Fuller. So I am her husband that had all the children that are on the show. So they do a flashback at Christmas, and they're like, "Oh, you're coming in." And I'm like, "How do I come back again? Like, do we start seeing mediums? Do we do some more flashback shows?
Yeah.
Have a little seance or something? You bring my character back.
What can I do?"
But because I was on that, the kids thought that was amazing. Like, oh, that's the coolest thing. All their kids' friends thought that was the coolest thing because they loved that show. That's cool. Then it was my daughter's birthday coming up, and they were like, "Well, you can come to your show. We always invite you to come and see your episode." Because mine was a little different where I didn't do it live. We shot it live, but mine was a taped scene.
Right.
And then they interject to that, so I didn't have to be at the next live audience show. So they offered for me to go to that, and I was like, my daughter's birthday is the next weekend. Could I bring her and some of her friends? And I literally brought like 6 girls, and people are waiting for these tickets. They're flying in from like New Zealand.
No shit,
for these
really?
Tickets. So it was a big deal. I really appreciate that. The cast
that's really cool.
That. And then the cast came and took pictures with the girls, and we went backstage and everything. So, yeah, they're into it when I get to do stuff like that for them.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
See, that's a good story. I didn't do I worked with I was on here's how my kids think about my act. I was on Prison Break, and when I thought it was gonna be, I'm at home with the kids. I was still married. We're all at the house. The kids were little. It's a long time ago. And the kids used to watch Chuck. It was a TV show that was on Monday night on Fox.
Yeah, I worked with Big Mike on that show.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So
Mark Christopher Lawrence, another comedian.
Yeah, and Scott Krasinski's on there, who's a comic too. One of the guys that worked at the shop, the blonde guy, big bushy hair.
Okay.
But he's a very funny comic. But we're watching Chuck, and my buddy calls me, and I got this is back when he had TiVo. I got the show, so I got Prison Break TiVo, and I think I'm on the following week, and somebody calls me and goes, "Hey, your Prison Break is on." I go, "Yeah, it's next week." They go, "No, it's on right now." I go, "Oh shit, really?" And I go, "Yeah." They go, "Yeah." I go, "All right." So I hang up the phone. I look at my kids. And I go, "Hey, give me the remote." And they're like, "Why?" I go, "Because I'm on Prison Break right now. I want to record it." And they go, "But we're watching Chuck." And I go, "Well, can I have the remote to just tape my show?" And yeah, just hurry up and change back to Chuck. That's how how concerned they were. That was it. It's
probably good you didn't put it out there to people, because who knows? Your scene probably got cut if it was one of mine, and you weren't on the show anyway.
Yeah, who knows? But there was that. They liked it, but they liked the episode. They liked True Blood when I got Eaten Alive. They think that's the funniest thing they've ever seen in their lives. I wouldn't let them watch that for a long time. For like the first year.
They actually, my kids haven't seen any of my stuff, and for the most part. But when they do, some of their friends will be like, "Oh, we saw you in this." I get that more from adults. They're like, "Hey, we just saw a rerun of NCIS or NCIS or whatever," because they run those all the time, and they dig that.
Yeah, I always get a text with a screenshot of me. You get that with somebody take a picture of you on TV, and they go, "Look what I'm watching." You're like, "Oh, look at that," and then you're like, "Oh, I got that."
Yeah, but
I have $1.80.
Mine is probably, they've now photoshopped it with a dress on, and have all these derogatory things to say about me. And I'm like, all right, thanks.
Dude, what happened here? What happened in this episode? You're all, that doesn't look like me at all.
That's great, Dan. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
All right, man. I think we're going to wrap this up. I think we're in good shape. This is an hour and 20 minutes. Hour 15.
Oh, shoot. All right. Hey, it's been fun.
Told you, it went by fast. It goes by fast. You never know. I just try to talk. Is there anything we missed? Anything you want to cover? I really wanted to bring up the stuff about Tug of War so I could get out there for people to see it and throw it in the bio. But if there's
I got another psychological thriller on the lead of, and some of the people from class, but I actually can't talk about it yet.
Oh, so good for you. All right.
So yeah, just kind of hang in there. But I think there's going to be some PR coming out fairly soon.
Okay.
And then we'll get some information out about that. But a little horror psychological thriller.
Nice. Right on. Are you doing? Do you still? Do you go to class now? Do you study with anybody now, or what do you do?
No, I mean unfortunately no. COVID kind of shut all that down. I do watch. Some of these the casting directors have different, not podcasts, but they'll do interviews and stuff over the course and kind of training stuff. So it's been good to get onto those. And, that's the funny thing. Casting directors are kind of like the, Oz behind the curtain. You never see them.
Right.
So half of them, you don't even know what they look like.
Yeah, there's most of them you don't. Right.
Yeah, and it's hard. So if you see them in public, you don't even maybe converse with them, and you're like, no, I love that casting director. But it's been good because the ones from Ratchet and American Crime Story, Nicole Daniels and Bright, they did something. And it was like, oh, Dan Thiel's on, because my name came up. And I'm like, they know who I am.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's great.
I've done some of those, and I stay active just doing a lot of taped auditions, and hopefully people actually watch those because they take a lot of time.
Yeah. No, I do. I've only done it, like I said, I don't have theatrical, so I'm taping commercial stuff. But moving forward, all this stuff is going to be. I miss acting. I miss acting class atmosphere in a room, though. Like that class at Candy that was a great class.
Oh yeah.
And
absolutely, and you're working with working actors, so you're able to take stuff from them, and just it gives you that energy of where you're going to feed off each other to be successful. So I do miss that. I look forward to getting back into that.
Yeah.
The commercial stuff, though, I've been on a callback. My first callback on a commercial where it's on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And I had to do mine in my garage, but I don't have internet, and the audio says, I hadn't been on Zoom before. And it says, connect with internet audio. And I'm like, well, I can't do that because I'm using my cell coverage. So then when I turned it on, a video, I couldn't hear anybody. And so they, take me out of the waiting room and they go back on. And then I come back on again and I did the same thing. And I'm like, I can't hear you. And then they come back on and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it the other way. Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
I put the audio on and then my picture's sideways. So I had to turn my whole thing like sideways. Now they see my whole garage, all the paint, everything like in the corner.
That's good.
Like,
oil stain on the ground. How you doing? Anyway, I love M&Ms.
Sorry, Kathy. Kathy Carlton's like amateurs.
Amateurs. I'm still trying to figure out this at-home thing. It's very confusing. I don't know what button to hit.
So now we're dialed in. We've done it enough, and they're going to cancel that, and we'll go straight back to live auditions.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, right. Once you get it figured out, they'll go, every time to head to the west side again. Like, oh, great, thanks. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that drive.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, man.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
All right, dude. No, we're good. Thanks for being here, dude. I thought this went great. This is very cool. When you find out when you can give me information on the secret project, let me know, please. Keep me posted.
Yeah, I will. I'm looking forward to it. I'm shooting on it coming up here in a week, so they'll put some info on it pretty soon.
Cool. All right, man. Everybody, that's Dan Thiel. Everybody say hello to my good friend Dan Thiel. Actually, say goodbye to my good friend Dan Thiel. There we go. Round of applause.
Hey,
there he is.
All right,
everybody clap for Dan Thiel. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
You got it. Take care, bud.
All right, man. That was Dan Thiel. Look at that. The show went great. It wasn't bad. We came in 120. That's not bad. That's a good time. Thanks again for being here, guys. Stayed. I thank you guys so much. I appreciate it for being here. Please like the video if you're still watching. Most of you guys watch the show all the time, so you know the drill. And if you're a Patreon member, remember this Thursday, 4 o'clock Pacific time is happy hour. It's a little Zoom happy hour this week. That's going to be this Thursday. So grab a drink and turn on your Zoom link, and we'll get together. Cool? Cool. Excellent. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being here. As always, dream of Pinky.
Lenny Schmidt Quarantine Comedy was created, produced, and is hosted by Lenny Schmidt. We live stream on YouTube at 6 p.m. Pacific every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Special episodes occasionally stream or are uploaded on Tuesday and Thursday. Every episode is also launched as a podcast and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video. If you really like it, share the video. If you really, really like it, please subscribe to the Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. You'll get updates on this and numerous other online comedy content that my dad produced. Check the info section below for detailed information on all of our guests. If you are a fan, you can follow and support them as well. Go to their page, like their content, buy their albums, purchase a shirt, any merch they may be selling. Anything you do will support performers will literally help save the arts. In fact, if you want to support this show financially, just go to lennyschmidt.com/ifyoucan or Venmo at Lenny Schmidt Comedy. If you donate as little as $1 or as much as $10,000, it will help pay for the stuff my dad keeps breaking. If you can't pay for the comedy content, that's okay. COVID sucks for all of us. Enjoy the free show. If you want to find a way to support what we do, just subscribe to Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. That really helps a lot. Thank you for listening to my dad's show, and as always, dream of Pinky.